Hi everybody, my name is Ricardo Coelho, aka Richie, and I'm here to thank all the new subscribers, and mainly the old ones that have been with me for such a long time, have commented on my videos and have helped me to grow. These videos I make them for you, it's lots and lots of hours, but it's all fun and pleasure. Anyway, it takes me many hours to make them. I hope you enjoy them, and I hope they teach you something. I hope we can learn something from them. This next video is something I've been asked to do. It's like a class. I tell you the temperature I'm using, I tell you the tips I'm using. It's a lily, something I usually tell my subscribers to make as a first project, because it's not geometric, it's more fluid. I hope you enjoy it, and it will be up next. So thank you all, and I hope you keep watching my videos and keep up with me. Thank you. Hey everybody, this tutorial is a full tutorial from beginning to end. I'll make this in watercolor paper. This is what I'm using. The details will be in the description below. And the design I'm working on is taken from this book I have, Plants from Jim Harter. It's a lily, as you can see. I've taken two copies, black and white copies. Always make these black and white, so it's easier for you to see shadows and light when doing the work. So one of these remains as it is, so I can see the original drawing. And the other one is for me to trace the image to the paper. I always use carbon paper. You also have graphite paper, but I think this one is less messy. It works better for me. And I also use a red pen, so I can see where I've already traced, what's missing. It's easier for you to see what you're doing. So I also have a piece of scrap paper, the same paper that I'm doing the work on. Always have this at hand, so you can test your tips, see if they're hot enough or too hot, or always keep this at hand. And let's start by tracing the design into the paper. I think I'll speed this part up so you don't get bored. Adjust the paper. Have the paper, the carbon paper, and the watercolor paper. Always have this something hard below the paper, the one that you're working on, and something that does not burn easily. Okay, this is wood. So I'll zoom in so you can see better, and I will start tracing the design into the paper. I'll speed this part up. Okay. Well, now that we have our design on paper, I forgot to tell you that you should secure both the paper and the design so it doesn't go around. I also wanted to tell you that you should understand the design you're working on. The petal comes from here, it twists. You should understand the design before you burn it, so it's easier to burn like that. Also, I will give you instructions about the temperature, about the tip I'm using. I'm using two tips. A shader spoon and a writing nib. These are the tips I normally use. I'll give you instructions about the temperature I'll be using. So we have our piece of scrap paper, the same paper as the one we're burning on, and let's start burning. Oh, I missed something. I missed something here. These two lines. Because I didn't secure both papers, now it's gonna be hard to put it in the same place as before. Well, maybe I got luck. Let's see. Yeah, it's okay. Okay. You should begin. At least I always begin in the darker areas. So if the tip is too hot or something, you won't mess it when starting your work. The paper usually burns at a higher temperature than wood, or than some types of wood. So I'm starting, I'm using Razertip SS D10, and I'm trying my tip on the scrap paper. And I will start with temperature at 6. So right here it will be a shadow area, so let's start here. Temperature 6. I chose the flower, the lily, because with geometric things you have to have a steady hand, and if you make a mistake it will show. much more than on something like this. That's why I chose the lily, or you can use any other flower. It's looser. You see that the carbon paper disappears when the tip touches it. So this will also be a shadow area. You have to set a point of light, meaning that, for example, you say that the light goes from here to here, and all the shadows will be down. So if the light comes from here to here, this will be shadow also. And this part will also be shadow. I forgot also to tell you that this is hot pressed paper, watercolor paper, so the grain, it almost doesn't have grain. It's very soft, it's easier to work on. So if you can choose hot pressed paper. You should also leave some completely white areas. It gives the work more light and more volume. So if you can leave some white areas, it's like watercolor. I'm still using temperature 6. I think I'll leave these areas completely white. So basically you start from the darker areas and go up to lighter areas. The way the tip touches the wood or the paper, it's like an airplane landing and taking off. It's like this. You touch the paper and you lift it gently. You touch gently and lift it gently. With practice, this will be automatic. Always keep an eye on your reference photo. In this case, I don't have much light and dark areas. You have some light here, here, and here, here, in the middle of the leaves, the petals. This leaf will be much darker. Because you have all the petals over it. I also forgot this part here. I'll try to edit directly. I think it's good like this. Even being really dark, always try to add some lighter tones to it. As you can see, it's not white, but it has a lighter tone. It gives it texture. I think I'll set the temperature to 5.5. Because I want to do this part, and this part is lighter. Yes, it works perfectly. 5.5. You can also leave this thin white line very thin, so it doesn't mix with the petal. I'm switching to the writing nib. Because I want to make this part. Always test the tip before you use it. This is on temperature 4.5 with a writing nib. I think I'll set it to 5 so I don't make much pressure on the paper. In here you can make some dots so it has texture. It adds texture to it. Some random dots. You will also may have to clean your tip when you're doing your work. I use some fine sandpaper for that. Leave that thin white line between them. It's prettier. As you can see, you have all of them separated. And you have texture. In here I'm doing some round, some circles. So it has also some random texture and some white. And it will be lighter, just to set apart from the other items. I will switch again to the shader spoon on temperature 6. Sorry. Always test it first. Now this is also a dark area because it's inside the flower. Little white line. So the system is basically the same. You start in the darker area and you go up to the lighter area. these lines also gave the petal some texture, so keep them. It doesn't have to be extra smooth.